program F.I.N.D Relationship. Today we are looking at episode 42, the inevitables in relationship. And with me this evening is Reverend Caleb Calebs. Please, can you greet the audience?
Viewers all around the world, it's another wonderful time of relationship. This is becoming interesting and it's also changing lives. So you sit back, get all your friends. We're here again. And if you're watching on Facebook, you feel like creating a watch party so that other people can also benefit from it. You can also go to our YouTube Life Mending Word Mission, or you go to our website www.lifemending.org, or click on the Facebook there and let's begin to enjoy this. It is all for you.
Thank you so much. When you talk of the inevitables, what we're talking about is things that you can't do without. If you need a relationship to go beyond where it is, if you want to have a peaceful relationship, you want to have the relationship that you have desired to have, then this point we're going to discuss this evening becomes very, very relevant. You can't throw them to the bin. You must put them into practice. Relationships are meant to grow. Relationships are meant to be a place of joy and relaxation. But when these keys are lacking, you will find out that it can't be what you want it to be. And this evening, I want Reverend Caleb to tell us what the keys are before we get into discussion.
Relationship, I love the way I normally talk about it. You need to have your sheep in order to relate with another person's sheep. So I know you can have personal relationship with yourself, but personal relationship with yourself is not enough. You need to have a credible, worthy relationship in every sphere of life, whether it is in the home or in the workplace or in church or in the society. You cannot be an island. So you need to know what it takes for you to have a credible relationship. So the things we are talking about today, we call it the inevitables. In other words, you cannot have a credible and worthy relationship at any level. It's not just all about marriage. If you don't have them and you get into marriage, you're going to mess up the marriage. And that's been the problem. So many people have bad attitude towards relationship before ever they get into marriage. So we have 4 major keys today that can unlock your relationship at every level. The first one is sacrifice. You cannot have a credible relationship without sacrifice. If you're going to relate with somebody else, you need the sacrificial attitude. And the second one is that you need to focus on the positives. Everybody have their own fault, but you need to focus on the positive. That's what I normally call the gold digger principle. And the third one is true forgiveness, genuinely forgiving people. If you're somebody that holds grudge, you don't let anything go, you're not going to make a credible relationship. And the other one is the ability to share, because relationship is all about improving the person you're relating with. So if you cannot share or you don't have anything to share, you'll be by yourself, die by yourself. Don't try to bring anybody. And bury yourself. Don't try to bring anybody. That's why stingy people, selfish people, they don't make it a relationship. I think these are the 4 keys that we're dealing with.
Yeah. I want to talk on the first point, sacrifice. In relationship is all about sacrifice. If you're not willing to make sacrifice, there is no way you can have a successful relationship. You need to prefer your spouse to yourself. You need to think about your spouse first before yourself. But we find out in most relationships, it's not like that. You go to the shop, you want to buy a material or a cloth, you go with your spouse and it's all about you. It's all about you looking for the best. If you have not gotten it, then your spouse can go to bed. When you have such, you find out that it can't work well. For instance, there is something that happened between me and my husband. I came in and I saw how he was so tired. He was supposed to go to somewhere to handle some programs. But I saw the way he was lying down. He was so tired. Then I looked at him. I said, no, I'm not going to wake him up. I was also tired. I needed to sleep. I needed to rest. The program was not my program. But what did I do? I looked for the blanket. I covered him. And I went to anchor the program on his behalf. When he woke up, he was like, you didn't wake me up. I said, no, I didn't wake you up because I know that you are very tired. Then he looked at me. It meant a lot to him. I didn't know that what I did really touched his heart. And his response to me was, I see that you really love me. So you see, little things like that, sacrifice it. Maybe you have money and your spouse doesn't have. Bring it out. Give to him. Do things together. It shouldn't be all about you. When you do that in your relationship, you will have a successful relationship.
The second thing about that particular sacrifice is the fact that so many times you find out that people are willing to sacrifice their material things, they're willing to sacrifice their time, but the aspect of sacrifice that is we are in daily need to sustain relationship is your ability to let go your expectations. Your expectations. So many times we expect so much from our spouse, but we get disappointed. You understand what I'm saying? And so many people are not willing to sacrifice their expectations, especially when it is being frustrated. You see your spouse cheated on you and you were so much disappointed, but you need to let it go. It takes sacrifice to throw it aside and continue to be in relationship. So expectations, when it is deflected, it takes sacrifice for you to come back to that particular place you want to be. So the second aspect that we are dealing with is sharing also. Mm-hmm. Sharing is a very powerful key is one of the inevitables in relationship. You came into relationship to share. You didn't come into relationship to grab. Mm-hmm. There are so many people who are coming into relationship, they want to see what they want to grab. You understand? That day you will grab until the man is tired of you or the woman is tired of you. So it is better to come into...
You have nothing to grab anymore. Then you want to go.
You want to go home. Or even if you have something to grab, you're selling yourself wrongly, because there's nobody that wants to be in relationship with somebody who is just taking and is not willing to give. So it is important that you have to share yourself, you have to share your skills, you have to share your knowledge. You are a complementary part of another person when you come into relationship. Let's talk about the positives now, woman of God. Can you handle it?
You're focusing on the positives in your spouse.
Yeah.
Are there things that are good about your spouse? Are there things that you love? Are there things that you admire in your spouse? You need to magnify those things.
I love that word, magnify.
Yeah, you need to stop magnifying the wrong things about your spouse.
That's true.
Each time you want to talk about your spouse, you only notice or talk about the wrong things he has been doing. Are there no right things? Are there no things that you are proud of? So the point this evening is that you should magnify those things that is positive, that is good about your spouse. A man died, and everywhere we go, you hear the story of every of the wrong things he did. Everybody is about the wrong things. Then I asked the question, I said, is there no good things that this man had done? So fortunately, I went into a shop and we were
trying to
buy things.
Remember that.
And I met two guys, and they were talking about this guy, of the way he has assisted them, the way he has helped them. Where they are today is as a result of the help that the late man gave to them. So you find out that in every man, there is always a positive part. In your spouse, there is a positive aspect of your spouse. Magnify it. When you magnify it, the wrong aspect will diminish.
That's true.
So please, I think this point, you need to look at it.
Yeah, if you really want to be in a relationship, focus creates your mood. Focus creates, whatever you focus on creates the mood, and it creates it creates the kind of attitude you have around about a person. So it is important that you look at those positive things, magnify it, and let it begin to swallow up the other side of things. I'm not saying that the person does not have negatives around him, but him or her. But you need to learn to amplify, be a gold digger in relationship. Find out how to sustain, magnify the positives of people, and allow the depth which everybody, each and every one of us, we have things that we want to hide. We have things that you want to let go. You are not a diamond without rough edges. So it is important that we focus on the positives of people and magnify it. It is also important, the third thing that we're dealing with here is forgiveness. The fourth thing is forgiveness. Forgiveness is important. Genuine forgiveness is important. Yeah, I understand that. Genuine forgiveness is very, very powerful, because offense will always come. If you're dealing with a human being, you know what we do in relationship is that when we have wrong people, we normally tell them, oh, you know, I'm a human being. You know, I have my own fault. To err is human. To forgive is divine. That's what we normally tell people when we're on the wrong side. But when we are the ones that are being wrong, we don't say that at all. We think that to err is now stupidity. Why must you err, and all the rest of it? So it is important that which we tend to apply to people, especially when we're on the wrong side, we also need to understand that. Make excuses for people. Let go, because right off, the word of God said that God deletes our iniquity for himself. You understand? He said, if thou, O Lord, regard iniquity, who can stand? God is able to bring people to worship him, because he himself is able to write off people's sin. When you have built up that attitude where you don't let people's iniquities and mess around you to stay, to go, you have built a situation whereby everybody will isolate you. Woman of God, can you say something, then we'll round up?
Yeah, still on that genuine forgiveness. You see, sometimes people will say, I can forgive, but I can't forget. Mm-hmm. Then I have this question. All that you did in your life, are you able to remember everything? The answer is no. You can't say all that you have done in life. There are some that you have forgotten. So it's possible to forget the wrongs of your spouse. It is possible. And the next thing is, when you don't want to forgive, or you forgive casually, and whenever there is any issue, you call those things back, there is no way you can have a healthy relationship. And that means that you have not actually forgiven. You have not actually forgiven. Because when you call back those things that your spouse did to you, you find out that there is an anger coming out from you. But when you have forgiven, you can't even complete the stories. There will be missing lines because you have forgiven. And when you are even talking about it, there is no anger, there is no pain coming out from it. That is when you know that you have given a genuine forgiveness. Please forgive your spouse for your sake.
Wow, that's so powerful, and I learned forgiveness in a very powerful way, because there were some years back there were issues that we dealt with. It was issues in the church, and the way we learned to forgive was so powerful. Jesus said that you pray for your enemies. When he's talking about the enemies, he's not talking about Mr. Devil and demons. He's talking about human beings through whom the offenses come against you. The easiest way to deal with that is to pray for them. You see, the principle of praying against people is a religious way of bringing in evil wishes, and you turn it into prayer. You don't pray against human beings who have hurt you. It's a wrong principle. you pray for them. When you pray for them, the bitterness, the anger, the venom that is in that offense will just dissipate. It will just leave you. And then you begin to get that attitude that floods your heart, that is able to let people come into your life. So today we believe that we have really imparted unto you. We've talked about the inevitables that will make your relationship go to any level, and we are talking about any level of relationship. Let's go through it again. We talked about sacrifice. We talked about
focusing on
positive sharing and genuine forgiveness. If you can get these three things today at any level of relationship and begin to practice it, you will be a kind of person that will be magnetizing people. You will not get relationship today and you break it tomorrow. You will be a kind of people that people love to hang around you. I'm not just talking about any kind of person. I'm talking about relevant people in your life. We've come to the end of this particular episode today on F.I.N.D relationship. Thank you, DMG, for all your studio. DMG Studios is committed in raising youngsters and artists and projecting the image of Christ also. This is one of the things that is involved in that studio. And then also One Word Point Travel, Raf Cheek, taking people around all the whole world. You know, this festive season, you can also get hold of him. He will book very cheap ticket for you, but it's not a disappointing one. Okay, now next time when we come on this platform, we believe that you've been imparted today. We'll see you next time. It's F.I.N.D relationship platform. God bless you.
God bless you.